Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have gotten a lot of comments and a lot of responses on the last anxiety video that I did just a few days ago. So I figured I'd do another one for you guys. And these are all of my tips and tricks and stuff that I've learned throughout going to therapy and just certain basics that I can give you guys as time goes on, and just to maybe help you guys out as well. Because like I explained in the last video, anxiety is still a struggle for me, but I am learning. I am healing. I am growing. I am on this journey with everybody and trying to figure out how to get this to go away. Because the truth is that your anxiety will never go away. That's the sad part about it. That's something that is your actual first step in trying to learn with anxiety. You'll never get it to go away. It'll be with you the rest of your life. So take it on, embrace it. That's all that I can tell you with that. So anyways, who here, I'm going to bring this one up. Who here, raise your hand if you are afraid of dying? Me right here. I am. I'm going to admit it. I am. So death anxiety, I know that there is a word for it. Maybe it is just death anxiety. There is, everybody experiences it one time or another. I have gotten, over the past few years, had gotten really dreadful with it. Really, really bad. Mine's gotten really, really bad, I should say. So a lot of mine actually started when my dad passed away. So I'll be honest with you guys. It started when he passed away. And I am on the journey of trying to realize how to get over some of that and how to get over my own mortality. And that one's a hard one to come by. In regards to that, the tips that I can give to you guys in regards to that is make yourself busy. Make yourself as extremely busy as you can. I guess that's what helps me. Maybe that won't help you, but that is certainly what helps me, is to just be busy all the time so I'm not thinking about it constantly. It's not always, like I stated in my past video, with anxiety, it's not always a day-to-day thing where I think about death, but there is certain circumstances that have come up that's made me think about it. So, and it's given me a little bit of anxiety towards it. So the best way, like I had said, is make yourself busy and try not to think about it, because I guess in the end, if you have a lighter way of saying it, we are all are mortal. So we have no other choice. So the best thing that you can do is just kind of go on with your life and just deal with it as best as you can. That's something that I had to learn along the way of dealing with anxiety, is just that. So, yes, make yourself busy, do whatever you need to do, start a hobby, get your mind off of it. If you deal with this certain, I guess, fear that I deal with, it is, like I said, death anxiety. If you deal with that, I'll explain to you guys again, you're not alone in that. A lot of people deal with that. And yes, you can bring yourself out of it. Like I said, the end result is still the same, but you can still bring yourself out of it and not think about it that much. So, that one's a tricky one for me on trying to come out of that. So let's move past this one. The next tips that I can give to you guys in dealing with anxiety, and I'll kind of explain to you guys some of my stuff and my symptoms and stuff that I deal with. So my anxiety symptoms have differed kind of throughout the years. Mine first started with just panic attacks. Then I started to notice certain little things, certain little, I guess, symptoms that came along with it. Now my head gets really tingly. If I'm really super stressed, really super anxiety filled, my head starts to get tingly. I get heart flutters, which those are completely normal. Do not let those freak you out. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise with those. Those are completely normal. A lot of people that I know that deal with anxiety deal with those as well. Just kind of feeling like your heart skips a beat. don't let that freak you out, because that was number one reason when I first started on my journey. What sent me into a panic attack was those heart flutters, because I was worried. And like I stated in the previous video, that's why I was going and getting the EKGs done in the hospital, because I was just that terrified. So once I realized and got my anxiety and everything starting to get under control, I don't get them as much as I used to. So that's another thing that you can work on. If you're getting those and your anxiety is under control, what I've known for me anyways is water. Dehydration will cause it. Like I said, anxiety will cause that. Caffeine's a big one. That is one thing that I had to cut out, which I actually drink today, but that is something that I had to cut out along the way on my journey. In all of that, I had to cut caffeine out, because that was causing about a quarter of my anxiety. So now that I've got it managed under control, I drink caffeine all the time. It doesn't really affect me anymore. So a lot of people ask me, like, gosh, you drink so much caffeine. I'm like, it doesn't really affect me. I can drink a cup of coffee and go to sleep at night. That's how much I have gotten my anxiety under control. So that's an awesome thing. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. And that's been through years and years of therapy and experience and just learning self-help books, stuff like that. So, in regards to when you're in a panic attack, anxiety attack, their anxiety and panic attacks are a little similar. Anxiety attack is more of just like an anxiety attack. Your heart's kind of racing, whatever symptoms you get them at the time. Panic attack is like I had explained to you guys in the elevator situation with me last week, where you're completely, in a sense, I know this sounds bad, but out of control. That's more of a panic attack, where I gotta get out of here, I gotta go, but you don't. That's the thing, you don't. At that point, if you're in that state, take a step back, stand in that one spot and breathe in and breathe out. Something I've learned from therapists time and time again, while this didn't work for me in the beginning, it has also worked for me now as I've gotten older, is deep breaths. Mine, I could do about 3 to 4 deep breaths in and out, and that'll start to kind of like regulate your body and start to try and make you come out of that panic attack. So another thing that I've actually discovered, this was all on my own actually, is water. This was like back in the day, there was one time I was in a panic attack, and I had figured out that if I splashed water on my face, it brought me out of it. So, and that is still works to this day for me. So that's something that you can try as well. There is something after I did it, I read up on it, and I'm like, wonder what that's all about. I wonder why splashing cold water on my face would make a difference. It's something, it has to do with the nerve. Obviously, anxiety is with your nerves, but it has something to do with like the nerves in your face. It just brings you out of it. It pushes your nerves back into where they should be. So that's something that you guys can try as well if you're dealing with a panic attack, if you're truly in that moment, or just an anxiety attack. Sorry guys, splash water on your face, cold water on your face. Also, I've noticed too, I've actually gone in to take a shower as well, and that seems to calm my entire body down. It doesn't need to be a cold shower. It could just be whatever temperature you like. That's something I've done as well. So these are some of my tips and tricks that I figured that you guys would want to hear along the way. Along the way, I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you stories of what I've been through and dealt with. So just bear with me with this channel. I know that my channel's just getting started, and it's kind of a little bit all over the place. Right now, the channel's going to be more centered on Wiley and Dakota. So, but other than that, whatever questions and comments you guys have in regards to anxiety, don't be afraid to ask me. I can tell you from dealing with it for 10 years, in different symptoms, anxiety symptoms and panic attack symptoms that I've dealt with. I can tell you I'm not an expert at it, and I'm not a doctor, just so you guys know. I can tell you some of the tips and tricks that I've used to get out of it. So, and a lot of the stuff that your fears are in your mind is in, and you have to look at it this way too, is if it's rational or an irrational thought. An irrational thought is something that, let's say, let me give you guys like maybe an example, like, you know, school, let's say just school wise, for example, or work wise for that matter. Oh my gosh, I got to get this project in. If I don't get it in, this is going to happen, or that's going to happen, or this is going to happen. And but I mean, just, it gets catastrophic. That can get out of control. And believe me, I've been there, done that with all of that. And actually the end result of it, that turned out everything was just fine. So that's an irrational thought. A rational thought that it is normal to have is to go, okay, I know I got to get this project in before this time. Let me go ahead and get it done, or else. That's where it stops. That's where you stop that anxiety right there. You stop it in your tracks. The easiest way that you can do that with your mind when it starts to spiral out of control is to stop it. You, like I stated in my last video, don't fight it, but some of your thought, don't fight the panic and the anxiety attack. I know that kind of contradicts itself a little bit, but you can stop some of your thought process from that too. So sit back and reevaluate the situation and go, is this rational or is this irrational? So that's the best thing that actually works for me, and that just kind of helps me out. More so, anxiety is dealing with control. And I am a control freak. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a control freak. There are certain things that I feel like I need to be in control with my life, or I feel out of control, such as cleaning, you know, such as work, such as our schedules in this household, all of that. It all has to do with control. I have learned to let a little bit of that control go. Not a whole lot, because that's still hard for me to do. I have learned to let some of that control go, because it doesn't get anybody anywhere. So that control turns into anxiety, which turns into being a perfectionist, which is who I am. I am a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist person. So I've had to learn along the ways with what to let go, what to hang on to, what to deal with, what to not, and just not let it spiral out of control. So, yeah, that's basically a lot of my tips and tricks, and there's nothing wrong. This is something that when I've been in my therapy with me being such a perfectionist, with feeling like I have to be in control in certain aspects with certain things, like I've explained to my therapist before, that I feel like if I'm not in control, or I feel like if I'm not in that panicky state, that the work doesn't get done. And partially that is true, because that makes you who you are. Don't let anybody or anything for that matter change that for you. If you that just makes you who you are. I can't change who I am, because that part of me of being in control in that anxiety, part of that anxiety field, like just like I explained to you guys in that last video, makes me who I am. And I'm actually very proud of that person, because I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't get the stuff done that I need to get done on a regular basis. And that's just the way that it is. So, but I've had to learn how to manage that. So, those are just basically, like I said, I know I keep going round and round with you guys. My tips and tricks. And another thing is dogs. These dogs, I'm petting Dakota right now. So these dogs are basically my help to anxiety as well. It's a proven fact. This is something that I've experienced myself, and I've experienced through therapy. It's a certain fact, is when you pet a dog or some sort of animal that makes you happy, it releases like that dopamine in your brain, that chemical, that dopamine in your brain. So try that. Try in other tips and tricks that I have is I'm a big shopping freak. If I get anxiety filled and I get so stressed out, I go shopping. That's just my thing. Find your thing. Find what makes you happy. Find that little peace of mind that you can get for an hour to 2 hours out of a day, out of a week, out of a month that you can get. Find it. Mine is, like I said, mine shopping. It's shopping by myself so where I can get back in my mode and really concentrate on things. So anyways, guys, I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope that this, this video brings inspiration to you as well. And I'm going to tell another story because, like I said, through this journey, it is a big journey for me too. So I'm going to tell some stories to you guys along the way of this channel in regards to anxiety, is my journey with it, my journey with anxiety. So this is one instance that I actually never came out of my panic, and I actually got stuck in my panic. So my husband and I, we four-wheel. We go four-wheeling in his truck. I don't go quite as much as I used to, and I know that he wants to go quite a bit, but we don't go quite as much as we used to. But there was one time, and this goes into specifics with my anxiety and with my fear of heights. There was a time where him and I had went four-wheeling. It was in the mountains, obviously. And we were on some back trail back where there was no reception, nothing like that. And there was a cliff. There was a cliff there. And we were on it, and we couldn't actually, on the road that we were on, there was, like I said, there was like a cliff to the side of it. To me, it seemed bigger than what it was. And now that I look at it, I like see it in my mind, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it wasn't that big of a cliff. It was just pretty hilly going down. But yes, there was a cliff, and we were driving on this dirt road where a lot of the razors and trucks and, and four-wheelers go back onto four-wheel back there. Well, we couldn't get over this spot because I think it's called high centering. I'm pretty sure my husband knows this, but yeah, we couldn't, the bottom kept touching the bottom of the rock, so we couldn't get over it. So it was me, my husband, and my stepson, now that I remember that. And he was trying to make it over, and I kept telling him, no, let's turn back. We don't know what's on the other side. I don't want to go further anymore. I'm already uncomfortable with my anxiety just because I don't know quite where we're at. And we started to go over it, and he's like, babe, I'm going to need your help to kind of spot me for a second. And, I couldn't get out of the truck. I was frozen. I kept telling him, I'm like, well, the truck was just slanted just a little bit. And I'm like, I can't get out of this side. What am I going to do? He's like, just hop out of the truck. And I'm like, I can't get out of the truck. My panic and my anxiety is going so much, I can't get out of the damn truck. And he's like, just hop out of the truck. And I hopped out, and I got myself stuck, and I didn't want to move any further because, like I said, we were on like a slant on the road, and there was that other hill beside there, and I was so terrified of just falling off that hill for some reason. That's where your anxiety goes, though. That's where it goes. So we got turned around, and we didn't go past that part. So we had to turn all the way back around. So looking back on stuff like that, I'm like, gosh, like I really am terrified of heights and terrified of stuff like that where I wasn't in the past. And exposure anxiety, that's something that can get you guys out of some of this. Just like I explained, I'll keep referencing it in every video, just like I explained in the last video. Exposure anxiety. After that, we went four-wheeling just a few more times, and I was completely fine. Expose yourself to those things. That's the easiest thing I can tell you. Expose. I can't tell you guys that enough. Expose yourself to it. Because that is the only way in certain things that you're going to be able to bring yourself out of some of it. Like I said, my fear of heights is still there. That's still very real. And it's just a little bit of exposure that I expose myself to every once in a while to try and get myself a little bit over that. But the rest of the stuff, I used to be terrified of bridges, terrified of it. To where I couldn't even go over them. I'd go like another route. I'd go another way around to try and just find another route to get around it so I didn't have to do it. Expose yourself to it. I did that, and now guess what? I'm not afraid of bridges anymore. Not at all. Now, you won't see me on them when they're icy. That still kind of freaks me out a little bit because they're not hitting the ground, so it's not hitting that warmth, so they'll always be frozen if it's icy out. You won't see me on them then. But that being said, you see me on them now because I'm learning how to deal with all of that, and I've moved past that, and that the bridge part doesn't fear me anymore. So anyways, guys, I've rambled on quite a bit enough. Let me know, like I said, in the comment section down below if there's any other questions that you have, anything else that you need help with, something that you're stuck with in your own mind that you may need my help on. Like I said, my anxiety symptoms involve a racing heart flutters every once in a while. I feel my anxiety in my stomach. That's where it helps to breathe a lot through your stomach really deep. Breathe through your stomach. My head gets tingly from it, and I get shaky whenever I do get panicky. Yeah, so those are my symptoms that I get from it, and I am obviously learning how to manage them on this long journey. So like I said, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. I won't take up too much more of your time. Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. One more thing that I wanted to add on for you guys that I forgot to put in this video. You will not die from anxiety. Let's just put it that way. You absolutely will not. I went through years thinking that was the case, that you can die from anxiety. You will not. You will not die from a panic attack. You will not die from an anxiety attack. I just wanted you guys to let you guys know that in case that was ever a question for you guys. You absolutely will not. There is nothing from a panic attack or anxiety attack that could make you possibly die. So just thought I'd let you guys know that. So once again, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.